Today, we have a game that can clearly take the highest rows of the top games in the survival genre. The game is new, fresh, and attractive. Enshrouded. Today, we will break this game into pieces, and from those pieces, we will catch the good and bad qualities of the game. I'll also give a couple of useful tips to both players and developers. Enshrouded may seem like a survival game, but it is clearly not. There are many genres mixed in one. Also, many players will say that Enshrouded is blending a form of Soul-like genre mixed with Zelda, Subnautica, and Valheim. Clearly, I can say do not compare this game with any Souls genre game. Yes, in a game, we have parry mechanic, but it is only parry and nothing else. Combat, bosses, difficulty scale, what is in Souls games will be not found here. However, when I entered in a game for a first time, it gave me really positive emotions. Graphics, massive locations, scary locations, and a sound effects, which gave me a right feeling to say that the game is clearly worth my time. Enshrouded launched at Steam at 24 of January, and it was developed by a small company from Germany called Keen Games. If the company is small, it clearly does not mean that the game will be bad. They made really good progression, and I definitely see this game as a huge title, a growing title, and I am saying a growing only because it is only in early access, so in a game will be added more features with extended territory. For now we can see map blocked with early access invisible wall. However, territory, what you will be able to explore right now, is still a massive chunk, and it will be enough to keep you busy for a couple of dozen hours. I played the game for 24 hours and explored almost every corner available to me, and it was great. And if you look at the general map, then I can say this is simply a huge territory that will not leave anyone indifferent. And the most interesting thing is that you can play the game in both private, single mode, and cooperative mode. Yes, the game has a cooperative mode where you can create an open game for everyone, closed for your friends, or private only for yourself. And no matter what kind of game you play, all your progression will be saved since this is your created world, and in it, you are the god of your desires. What I really liked was that if you played and collected items in your world, then you can come to other player worlds with the same items. Despite the fact that you can go to other servers, and the game even has a skill tree where you can train yourself as a support, the game still remains not PvP style. The skill tree was honestly amazing at first, but I strongly advise them to change it, improve it, and expand it. I didn't see any drastic changes in character development while leveled myself. It also makes no sense to explore a map with many players. Yes, the map is vast, but there is not such a scale and number of monsters that I would need the help of other players. Initially, I was very scared to walk through infected places because there were mocking sounds in the depths that clearly indicated that there was someone there. But in fact, there are many fewer mobs here than in normal green zones. I was very disappointed with this. I expected more. I can say the same about bosses. There are few of them, or rather only 3, maybe 4. There was clearly not enough variety of monsters for such a huge territory. In general, all the work was carried out in the design of the map and its scale and not on its inhabitants. The mobs themselves in combat were acting quite simple. Some of them were easier, some of them harder. Usually in a game it's more common to use dodge option than parry. Some of them were quite easy to beat, and I clearly can see there should be done more work to make combat much challenging. And what about the building aspect at the game? It is actually good. Build how you want and where you want. If you are inside of your territory, then build a house even in the air. Also, we can expand territory later. I've built my house at enemy quarters and it was a great feature. You do what you want. You can also dig underground with a pickaxe or with the help of the buildings. But let me clarify just one huge drawback here, and it is the amount of resources for buildings. In the game, the developers decided not to bother with this. Just farm everything in an hour and build a whole castle. All games in the survival genre make sense to grind to build your home. But alas, not here. If you have already noticed, we have different quality weapons in the game, including legendary ones. All this is also cool, but unfortunately, in the game, I noticed only a few types of weapons. And in all this huge area, all legendary weapons were constantly repeating. Obviously, they worked not enough to make variety here either. To all that, I want to say that I missed a huge amount of territory what I not explored. So there is more content for another 20 hours. To explore missed content, I joined to one open public server. And this was absolutely crazy. I also found a player who helped me to get high-tier loot where monster level was 3 times higher than mine. I was dying a lot of times, and I really want to say thank you to this kind gentleman who was helping me over and over. This time, what I spend together with him, I realized that this option to run with others is overwhelming, enjoying, and surprising. The biggest downside to this is that you cannot talk or even use a chat to communicate with others. What was a big mistake from game developer? Otherwise, it was a good experience to get high-tier loot earlier. Another drawback was in a variety of biomes. Yes, there is winter biome, yes, there is desert, yes, there is greenland. But in those biomes, you will not find something special. There will be a few new monsters, but only a few. A few new plants, but only a few. Same time, these biomes will look similar to others. I wish to see more variety, like maybe swamp or radiation zone, where you have to wear a special suit to explore it. And especially when we have still a huge closed area with upcoming content. But if we will see the same content over and over, then this game will turn to boring project. However, this game clearly plays a huge amount of players, even if there are too many downsides. Even though the game was missing a lot of elements, I really enjoyed the game. The game is really worthy for its ideas, diversity, and scale. The game is not so expensive for its vast ideas, and I clearly will return in a game a few months later to see improvements. And if I will see them, then I will make another video for it. Overall, Enshrouded promises an engaging and memorable gaming experience for fans of the survival horror genre. If you're looking for a game that will challenge you both mentally and emotionally, it's definitely worth checking out. Also, I heard news that the cooperative mode will be improved. So if you are a survival genre fan, then you have to give a game a try. Have a good day. Today's giveaway game will be a Kenshi, a free-roaming squad-based RPG, focusing on open-ended sandbox gameplay features rather than a linear story. Be a trader, a thief, a rebel, a warlord, an adventurer, a farmer, a slave, or just food for the cannibals. I haven't played the game myself, but I have it and I am interested to test it out in the future. Bear in mind, the game is quite challenging. Today's question is, who was the ancient Greek god of the sun?